Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me today on this Education on Air session. My name is Matt, and I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay. The session that I'm doing today is called The Wicked Soap Company, an Entrepreneurial Approach to Chemistry. I'm a chemistry teacher, and I'm a husband of one, a father of two. I currently teach chemistry, but I've also taught physics and earth and space science, life science, algebra, and I teach at a place called High Tech High in San Diego. I spent 10 years teaching science in a very traditional way. There was worksheets and quizzes and homework and all the stuff that you associate with traditional teaching. And I think if you had asked my administration, they probably said I was doing a good job. You know, my kids were doing okay on their tests and things like that. The grades were fine, but the students weren't really engaged or happy. And I wasn't really engaged or happy. I love science and I'm passionate about science. And it's hard to do that when I was just trying to cover all these standards and get through all the chapters in a textbook. And even though I was doing a decent job of it, you know, they weren't into it and I wasn't into it. And after doing this for a long time, dialed in, I was over it. And I thought, I don't really want to do this anymore. But we were moving to San Diego, and I was lucky enough to get hired at a really cool place called High Tech High. And now High Tech High is just really amazing. It's a project-based charter school. They keep it pretty small. There's about 400 students in our high school, about 100 per grade level. You can build really close personal relationships with our students, and that's kind of what it's all about. On any given day at High Tech High, you'll see rockets launching or furniture being built or spoken word poetry or solar ovens or boats being built. There's laser cutters. There's all types of art and digital media going on. And it's a place where teachers and students are supported in taking risks and exploring their interests. So I had thought I was done with science and being a science teacher, but when I started at High Tech High, it breathed new life into my career, and it got me motivated and engaged, and I could just explore the topics in science that I loved and share that with students. So I do a project with my students each year called the Mad Scientist Project. And this Wicked Soap Company all kind of stemmed from this Mad Scientist Project. In the Mad Scientist Project, students pick some sort of chemistry or related science experiment and explore it, practice it, and present it. And it's up to them to choose and decide what they want to do. So they get to kind of follow their interests. The first days of this project are really cool because their job is to get out your Chromebook, log on, and Google things like cool chemistry experiments or awesome science demos. And they get to just kind of explore for a few days and see, oh, this one's really cool, but the materials are $500 and I can't afford it. Or this one's awesome, but this particular chemical is going to give you cancer. Can't do that one. So they have to kind of, you know, research until they can find something that fits their budget and their comfort level, and then go explore it. And it's really cool because everyone gets to do their own thing and what they're interested in. And I had one student named Evan a few years back that made soap. And I didn't know much about soap at this point. I mean, I understood there was a chemical reaction taking place, but he mixed some oils with some lye, and it created a soap molecule. And I've got a very, you know, ugly example of soap projected here, and it did work, you know, and I thought that was pretty cool. But over, you know, as at the end of the semester and over Christmas break, I found myself thinking about it and thinking this would be kind of neat because my whole class could do this potentially. We have the space available in our classroom. We had enough, you know, sinks and tables, and I could get enough oil and lye, and it was cost effective enough. And I thought that we could all try this. So as a class, the next semester, with a new group of students, we did try it. And our first run through was kind of a mess. You know, we had maybe 10 groups, and I bet 2 or 3 of them worked to the point where what they created we would call usable soap, and more than half of them didn't. But from a science and exploration standpoint, this is perfect. This is awesome. You don't want super success right away. You want to be able to analyze your results and see, why did this soap work and this soap didn't? And what ingredients did we use in the soap that worked versus what didn't? And what processes did we use that worked? And so we got to go through this again, the process again. And the next time through, we had a lot more success. Maybe almost all the groups made something that was, we would say, usable soap. But there's still so much more room for improvement, because it's tough to perfect. It's tough to get the colors right and the scents right and the sizes and the shapes. And there's so much room to grow in this project that it was perfect for something more long-term. And we did this for a semester. And by the end, we had some soap that was beautiful and smelled good. And it was pretty good. And we exhibit our work at High Tech High, where we go out into the community and invite friends and families. And it's kind of like a celebration of the learning. And at this exhibition, we showed off our work. We showed off our soap. And a lot of parents and community members were impressed. And they said, you should be selling this. So in the spring of 2014, we launched the Wicked Soap Company. And that is what has changed my classroom over the last few years. It's absolutely the pinnacle of student excitement and engagement, and I've never seen anything like it. I came into class and I said, we had done this project last semester and everyone liked our soap and they suggested we sell it. So we decided that we are going to give it a try and we're going to sell it this semester. And you could just see the excitement on students' faces. Their eyes lit up as they're just wondering about all these possibilities. What can we do? Where can we sell it? Who can we sell to? What kind of soap do I want to make? What color? What fragrance? What are we going to do with all that money? Because they thought, we're gonna be rich. What are we going to do? What are we going to buy? And it just got them really into it, made them really excited to learn and to want to try this and to move forward with the company. So this was January. We got a little bit of seed funding and got started, and then all the real work started. It's hard starting a company. It's hard making soap, and it's hard selling soap. And we encountered just a million real world problems that were up to us to solve. And it wasn't problems that I was creating. I wasn't saying, guys, do this math problem and tell me the answer, do this chemistry problem. These were real, authentic, real world problems coming our way. We had to figure out who buys soap. What size and shape do people buy? What fragrances do they like? How can we get a good price for our materials? Is the price for a booth at an event worth it? Is our social media campaign working? Why won't glue work on our labels? Why can't we make blue soap? What price point is best? Should we have sales? Should we have special deals? How do we ship this? What method is the most cost effective? And I mean, that was probably just 10 questions there, but I think there must be 500 of them that come our way. And students need to use complex problem solving skills to try to figure out and adapt to these ever-changing problems. So in order to tackle all this, I certainly can't do it. It was well out of my reach. I couldn't handle everything like that, and it's up to the students to figure it out. So we formed committees. And these committees were based on real needs that we encountered in this project. I've done it before in a more traditional way, where I put students into groups and, I kind of like assign roles, like this person's me the recorder and this one's the timekeeper and this one's the researcher. And, I was just trying to find a job for everyone to do. But in this project, I didn't have to do that at all, because all the work was there. We knew what we needed to do. We needed to advertise. We needed to create soap. We needed to keep track of our soap. So we needed a logistics department and sales, and we needed accounting, and we needed to create posters and create a web presence. So all these committees came out of true need, and students stepped up to it. Some students that were really good with web design, of course, tackled our web design. And some students were really artistic, were designing posters and labels and business cards for us. So all these committees came out of real need, and it was cool to see how students kind of sorted themselves to where they felt they belonged. these committees have evolved a lot over time because we found that in the beginning, we might have put 6 or 7 people on our social media team, but we didn't need that many people. We need one good person to send out tweets every day, or maybe one person for our Facebook account. Um, Another example is once we got our website built, we needed a few students to do that. But once it was built, it was really just maintenance. And so that committee kind of fell apart too. So they're ever changing based on the demands that are placed on us by the community. All these tasks that students have to do are really very authentic, and it's students connecting with each other and the world. Um, Students need to research what recipes are working and what recipe might be better, and where can we sell our soap, and what events are coming up, and how are we going to get there. And they collaborate. They have shared Google Docs, and they work on artistic work there, and they work on our accounting work there. They explore new things that they want to take on, like to add on to the soap company. Are we going to add sunblock to our line? Are we going to put bath bombs on there? So they're exploring. They're creating. They're creating art and logos and designs and advertisements for us. So this stuff all really needs to happen, and the students step up and do it. This project opened the door for a lot of partnerships with the community, because here I was, a chemistry teacher, trying to teach them about sales and web design, and I was trying my best, but I wasn't the best suited for the job. So we actually could bring in professionals to help us with these things. And throughout my career, I've brought in a lot of guest speakers, where it's usually someone standing up front and talking to your students, and sometimes it's great and sometimes it isn't. But this was different. This was professionals working with us rather than just delivering information to us. It was a partnership, and they really helped us. So over the course of the first semester and every semester since, we've made some sales. We made some profits, and it was up to the students to decide what to do. And I tried to steer them as much as I could, but I also want to leave it up to them to make decisions. I do say that we should invest some of the money back into our company, and we need to resupply our oils and our pigments and our lye and resupply, invest in tools. One thing that it was kind of cool to decide on was an investment in bigger and better equipment. We were cutting our bars and it was a disaster. They were misshapen and they weren't the same size, and we invested in a really nice tool to cut them precisely. And this piece of equipment cost almost $200, but after we started making some money, we thought that's worth it because it's going to eliminate waste. So we invest back in our company. We invest in ourselves. We've taken trips to amusement parks. We've gone to see Padres baseball games. We've gone ice skating. We've had some class parties and things like that, and treated ourselves right for the hard work that we've done. But the thing that I'm most excited to talk about is our investment in others. We've done a lot of social giving. Each semester, we've created a scholarship for a graduating senior at our school. And this is a lot of fun because we ask our seniors to fill out an application kind of on why they need some financial aid, and what they would do with that money, and why they're deserving, and what kind of student they are. And they fill out scholarship applications. And then my students, my 9th and 10th graders, get to read through these applications and kind of judge their merits and decide who's most deserving, and then give away that money. And that's been very, very rewarding. We were able to buy a wheelchair for a student in need. We were able to help a student in a time of crisis. We were also able to give money to a teacher. We had teachers apply for grants at our school, and one of our new teachers wanted to install a water catchment in his class, and we were able to help fund that. We've donated physical bars of soap to organizations in need around San Diego, and all of that has felt very good. People ask me, they say, what are kids really learning? I hear this, teachers come and visit my room and they say, oh, so is it just this soap project every day? No, it's not. when you make soap, there's a lot of science involved. There's a lot of chemistry. We talk about the pH scale and neutralization reactions, but you're not going to study that every day for a semester. You've got that down after you talk about it for a few days. What kids are really learning about is the engineering design process. And I love to see them identify a problem and then think of possible solutions for that problem and then try it. And when they try it, they collect some data and see how it went and use that data to try again, to make an informed decision to try again and see if they can improve that product or that process. And so this is not something that comes easily. You have to practice and practice and try and try. All through my science classes growing up, I've learned that a scientific experiment should be repeatable. And we did a lot of talking about it, but we never really try it. We never really do it. We would just talk about it. And through this project, we were able to try and try and try again to improve and hopefully someday perfect a product. So that's what kids are really learning. They are learning about a process. They're learning how to do real science. And I thought before, what do kids really need to know? So the Future Jobs Report says that these are some of the skills that students are going to need for jobs in the next few years. They're going to need complex problem-solving skills and critical thinking and creativity and people management and coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision-making, service orientation, negotiation, and cognitive flexibility. And when you take on a really big project like this, all those things are there. I don't see on the Future Jobs Report that students are going to need to know what the electron affinity of gallium is, right? It's a chemistry thing. It's a chemistry concept. Yes, I'm a chemistry teacher, and I want my students to learn chemistry. But really what I want is for them to be engaged and excited about science so that maybe they're going to want to explore that in college. And they're going to think, I want a career in this. And to really, one, engage them in science and show them how cool it is and give them the skills to get there. Have them have a real understanding of the engineering design process and the scientific method so they know how to do science. People ask, how is this funded? They think, oh yeah, right, I would love to do a project like that, but we don't have money. Real World Scholars is an awesome, fairly new organization that is there to give money to teachers who want to introduce an entrepreneurial overlay into their classroom. And I was lucky enough to get paired up with them. I think I was their first teacher to do this. They gave me some seed money to get started, but it wasn't just handing me a check. They gave me a lot of support. Now they have a partnership with NEPRIS, which connects students to professionals in the field. And so you can log on to this and you have your students log on to this and be connected to professionals in a digital medium, and they can help with any kind of problem you need for starting a small business. So Real World Scholars is who helped me get started, and their website is there, and they're eager to help other teachers who have the same kind of idea of something to sell in their classroom. People often ask me, what % of time is spent on the SOAP project? There's a lot of days where my chemistry class looks more traditional, or there's a lot of other projects going on concurrently. It's not SOAP every day. We do embed a lot of our chemistry learning, a lot of our science learning in the project, but it's not a SOAP every day kind of thing. It's only, I don't know, once a week, once every 2 weeks. I have a kind of a deal with my students that we can make soap again whenever you sell the soap that we have. So it kind of encourages them to get out there and promote and try to sell soap and things like that. And so it's kind of like, it's an overarching project that has spanned a few semesters now, and it's definitely not an everyday thing. We're a project-based school, and there's other projects going on in my classroom, and this can kind of sit in the background and be there for any time it needs attention. I hear this too. How can I do this in my own classroom? I think what it takes is a little bit of an adventurous spirit. You have to be open to a big, challenging, messy problem to try to solve, because it is messy and it's tough. But it's a lot of fun too. It's so engaging. So I think you've got to be a little bit brave and a little bit just willing to get outside your comfort zone and give it a try. And it doesn't have to be soap at all, but any kind of big project or yeah, big project, I think you kind of have to have that attitude. And I think it starts there. I think it starts with just being willing to jump in with both feet and give it a try. So what can leaders do? I think that we need leaders that will really support teachers in taking risks, in getting outside that let's teach all the standards that a student needs to know, and encouraging and allowing teachers to take risks and have students explore their interests, to start a big project and try to embed the learning within the project. And it works. It works. Students are more engaged, they're happier, they're more willing to try their best for you. So I would encourage leaders to support their teachers in trying something like this. Looking forward, we're now in semester 5, and we're always looking for ways to keep this project fresh. We're looking for ways to expand our product line, possibly bath bombs, lip balm, candles, sunblock, and other relevant things. This project that we started is an authentic business, but it's inauthentic in a way that each semester I get new employees or new stakeholders. I got new students coming every semester that need to learn this stuff starting out. So we're always looking for more ways to keep it fresh and exciting as we move forward. It is a business. I would love it if you would visit us at www.wickedsoapcompany.com and check out the products that my students are making. And really the reason I did all this is because I want to share with you that it's fun and it's worth it. And it is a lot of work, but I think that I really encourage teachers to give this a try, to introduce an entrepreneurial overlay into their classroom. You're going to see student excitement, engagement like you've never seen before. And so that's it. Thank you very much. I see a few questions have come in online. Let me read through one of these. Oh, name one big failure that you made and need to go back to planning and rethinking the process of the project. We fail a lot with our soap. It happens all the time. It's easier said than done to make some soap. Oh, I know one big failure, the cleanup. The cleanup is a disaster when you make soap. Can you imagine 25 kids all with oils and dangerous chemicals and everything's coated in soap and oil? We've learned a lot. I would say the first semester was a failure. It was a disaster trying to clean up. And we went back and rethought it. And we did things like, instead of using one beaker for each type of oil, we just use one beaker. And I have students wash that beaker when they're done and reuse it. So instead of having each group with 5 beakers, we have 1. That's a lot less cleanup. Using a few disposable items rather than like Dixie cups to measure things like pigment, so we didn't have to wash something there. We ended up using a dry cleanup process. We found that water doesn't help clean up oil, so we use like spatulas to get oil into our trash can or a waste bin. So yeah, that was a failure, and how we adapted to it. Let's see. Another question here from Karen Bowers. Any idea how to scale this project up to a teacher who has almost 200 students per semester? That might be difficult, but I don't think it's impossible. I think that you just need, I mean, I almost see it as you can make more product. You know, I think that one way to do it might be to have one class making soap and one doing bath bombs and one doing candles and lip balms and one studying sunblock or things like that. Let's see what else we have. We have a link to the presentation. I will definitely provide that at the end. Let's see. Can you recycle soap in this process? Yes, we found a way to do that. What we do is we take bars of soap that are, you know, ugly or deformed or somehow didn't work out, and we can cut them up into little cubes or pellets, or take a potato peeler and shave those bars into pieces, and then we add them to another bar of soap. So let's say we have pink soap, and we might add it to a white bar of soap. So we end up having these cool colors throughout. I believe there is a way to melt down soap and try it again, but we haven't done much of that. I think the reason we haven't done much of that is because the process takes a long time. I only have an hour or two with my students, and we don't have enough time in a class period to do it that way. But yes, we have started recycling a lot of soap. Um, what was one failure you had as a teacher in facilitating this project? Here's one. This happened. Actually, this is happening right now. It's noon on Saturday. Right now, I had a selling event scheduled, a STEAM Makers Fair in Del Mar, California, that I was unable to attend because I couldn't be there. I was doing this, but also it was a failure in that I have to round up and rally support from parents. Parents have to help out and help get supplies to these makers fairs and all these places we sell. And this was the first time that I couldn't get that to happen. I think the parents are a little bit exhausted. They've helped out a lot this semester, and I wasn't able to get a parent to help out. So that was a failure. I don't feel good about it, but there's bumps in the road and we have to move forward. Another question here says, do you think it's easier to first identify a project and work backwards, or to identify built-in content standards, or to group standards and then allow students to identify projects? Okay, this is an interesting question. I think you can do it both ways. I think by allowing students to get online and explore and try to come up with a project that they can do is one of the most engaging things they can do. They have a lot of fun with it because they're Googling things like cool science experiments or things like that, right? And they get into it, and you'll have 30 students with brains in their classroom all exploring cool ideas, and you're going to get some great ideas out of it. Then I think it's your job as a teacher to embed the content, and it's not always easy. It can be difficult, but the rewards are there. The students are into it. Sometimes as a teacher, I come up with a big project and I try to deliver it to the students. But I think when the students have a hand in the creation and the selecting of a project, I think there's gonna be more buy-in and more engagement. So let's see if there's any more questions.
I think there's one more.
How long did your mad scientist project take? I'm glad you asked that question. I've done that wrong. I do everything wrong the first time and then learn from it and then go back and try to do it right. I think you need to leave your students a lot of time. I would recommend taking at least 2.5 weeks, maybe 10 weeks for the project, but you're not really working on it that much. What you need to do is introduce the project and have students select projects. And in the first week, they research, they select a project, and you can help approve them, and the parents need to approve them, make sure everyone's on board. And then you've got a month of downtime where students are ordering their supplies and gathering their supplies, and maybe starting a few first attempts and giving their project a try. And then you give them some class time, a few days, once a week in class for the next month, and then we present them to the class during the last week. So I think you need to leave yourself a lot of time because of gathering supplies and shipping and things like that. So last question. Could this reaction be done in a 52-minute period? Making soap, yes, it can, but you need to try this project yourself first. You need to always try your projects first. We have it dialed in where I could do it in 52 minutes now that my students know what they're doing, but the first time through, I would say it takes closer to 90 minutes. But you can do things like pre-measure some oils, or pre-measure the lye for them, or have the supplies out and ready for them instead of having them gather them. Yeah, I think it could be done in 52 minutes, but try it yourself first. All right, everybody, thank you so much for logging on. This was a lot of fun. And email me if you have any questions. I'm mmartin, as in Matt Martin, at hightechhigh.org, and I'm happy to share my recipes and any resources I have. All right, thank you.